Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Beth, and I just finished reading The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle by Haruki Murakami. It was translated by Jay Rubin. Please forgive me if I mispronounce any of these names. It's about to get worse. I'm going to butcher a lot of these character names. This book was actually published in 3 different volumes in Japan along the years of 1994 through 1995, and is about 600 pages long. I will say this, it reads like a novel. This is not the Stephen King Green Mile where, he's repeating certain sections and you can really feel that it was serialized before it was a novel. So I definitely enjoyed that. The book itself, I'm going to be honest, the 600 pages, it felt a little long. Not that it's bad. I think that if you already know Haruki Murakami's work, go for it, okay? It's definitely more of the same. His magical realism, that strange kind of world that he created, and this is definitely more of a detective novel. Well, I guess all of them usually have that detective aspect to them, but this one especially. I enjoyed it. I don't think it's my favorite Murakami novel. Like I said, I've read his longest one, which you can actually see right here, IQ 84. That one is a very long book. This one is not as long. And this one I was really struggling getting through it. Not that it was bad. At no point did I think the prose was bad. I love the world building. I think that maybe there was just too many extras that in the end, when the whole end of the book wrapped up, it didn't feel like it was really interconnected. It just kind of felt like randomness. It just felt like quirky ideas he added to the novel that maybe someone might find some kind of connection. It was like filling out an aesthetic. I don't know. It didn't really feel like it added anything. Main premise of this book, Toru, he's a man in his early 30s. He's been married to his wife, Kumiko, for about 6 years. Their cat disappears, and she orders the help of a medium, Malto, and her younger sister helps, and she's Creda. Please forgive me. All these names are getting butchered. And so they basically find out that the cat might not be coming back, the cat's missing, and it has all to do with how they're living with life and very vague instructions. And eventually his wife, Kumiko, disappears. So most of the book is trying to find out what happened to wife and how does that relate with the cat disappearing. There's also a character of Norobu, once again, sorry, who is her older brother, and he definitely adds this sinister aspect to the book. Something I think that IQ 84 does better as opposed to this one is the darkness isn't really formed. Like, you're just told that he's an evil man, but you don't know why. You don't know his effect that he'll have on the world. Nothing is really explained. You're just like, bad man. Vaguely bad. I don't know. So I do think that is definitely not a strength in this novel. You can tell that Murakami hadn't come into his own when writing this. And maybe because it is almost serialized, that's maybe why it feels a little bit too long, and maybe he didn't know where the story was going, so maybe that's why there's all these extra side plots and extra characters, which I could have lived without. Once again, I burned out hard in this book. I finished it. And the writing, like I said, the prose is enjoyable, and the story, I love how quirky the world that Murakami creates. And I don't know if it's because I don't know Japanese culture. It's kind of like when you read Harry Potter as a child and there's extra whimsy in the book because you don't know English culture. Like when they say Happy Christmas, you're like, this just adds more to the world, even though that's regular over there. But we don't know that. So it's the same thing with me and Japanese culture in this book. I know that a lot of people complain that the females in his novels aren't written well, and which I'll say, I don't think the men are written realistically either. But I think, once again, it's probably because I don't know Japanese culture. I personally don't think a regular man will go sit at the bottom of the well for multiple days on end. But, what do I know? I'm not a Japanese man. So I feel like you just have to suspend your belief when you're reading these books. I think that it just adds to this world of magical realism. Nothing really, especially because it's not supposed to be our world. And especially due to the fact that this book is older, it's written in the 1990s. So much about this book is it feels dated, but in the best way possible. I love the fact that our main character does not own a TV in his home, and that, you know, you don't have caller IDs, and calls are a big aspect of this novel because a lot of things you wouldn't have today. And it probably creates a lot of problems for authors that are writing today. But I personally, I like this kind of quirky world. I think it's definitely something to explore. And his fantasy is very dreamlike. If you've never read his books before, it's very much like a trance. You're not sure exactly how the magic works, if there is magic. It's not like some wizard or Lord of the Rings. It's none of that. It's very much down to earth, kind of vague, murky. Once again, it's definitely an acquired taste. But if you've read his books before, and you really like Murakami, honestly, I say go for it. If you like his books already, and this is something you definitely already enjoy. If this is, you know, not your first Murakami book, and you don't know if you want to get into it, I don't think this is the best book just to start in on, just because, like, I think it was too long. I think that there was definitely a pacing problem. I think some of these characters just didn't need to be there. There's Mr. Hyundai, or there's a huge segment about World War II. And while some of it I thought was worth reading, there was definitely points in which I was not I was not interested. I didn't really think it added anything to the story. It didn't feel connected. I know it was supposed to be interconnected, but it didn't seem like it to me. Um, so I think if you're going for a Murakami read, maybe Norwegian Wood. I think for me that's one of my favorites. Or the Pilgrimage of Tazaki. I'll write it in the comments in the details below because I'm butchering this book, but I think that's my favorite of his. We'll just call it The Pilgrimage for now. It will definitely pop up if you look for it. Anyway, like I said, if you like his works, read it. If not, maybe read one of those other works of his first. Hope you enjoyed my review and have a good one.